If the Arabs had been friendlier towards Israel when it first declared independence, there wouldn't be any Israel now. I'm Granniopteryx. I suppose you might think that was an incendiary statement. I'm going to make my case now. It occurred to me while I was making the previous video, which was about the Indian support for Israel in its present troubles. So in 1948, when the partition happened, Israel was very much smaller than it is now. It resembles, if you look at the map, I'll find a map and I'll put it up here, it resembled a string of sausages. And it was just sort of drew around the areas of the heaviest Jewish population. And the rest of it was supposed to be areas of Arab settlement. But what happened was, as soon as the British mandate pulled out, the mandate ran out, the British army left, they just, rolled down the flags and buggered off. And as soon as that happened, Israel declared independence. They had accepted the UN partition plan, which was probably unworkable, but they'd accepted it anyway. And the Arabs immediately declared war on them. And so you had Jordan and Egypt and Syria, and I believe there were some Saudi troops as well. I'm not sure about that, though. But the whole lot of them, they all fell in on Israel. And Israel, against all the odds, survived and actually ended up taking more territory. And after a year of fighting, the two exhausted combatants were induced by the UN to stop fighting. And that's what we know now as the Green Line. So the area around the pre-1967 borders is what happened after the 1948 war, and it was drawn in green pen green pencil by somebody at the UN. That's why it's called the Green Line. So after that, the Arabs were consistently fighting, making incursions into Israel, holding the refugees that they caused on the borders as a sort of running saw to, show I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, but not to absorb these people as refugees were absorbed anywhere else. And I've gone through that with my study of the UN, haven't I? And they kept on fighting. And then in 1967, they started a full-scale war again, and Israel got even more territory, which they were glad to exchange for peace, and did. They finally gave the Sinai back to Egypt. Now, Egypt had already conquered Gaza and taken it as Egyptian territory in 1948. But after 1967, when the Israelis got control of it, on account of them having control of the entire Sinai, what would you call that, a peninsula? Anyway, you know where I mean. They didn't want Gaza back because they'd made a total mess of it, and they didn't want to have to clear the mess up. That's what the problem is now. Okay. And Israel also still had all these incursions and wars and all the rest of it. And then in 1973, the Egyptians started another war. And then finally, Egypt made a sort of cold peace with Israel, as did Jordan. But basically, the Israeli borders have always been a dangerous area for Israelis. And that has kept the Israelis inside what amounts to a sort of island. It sealed the land around them. Israelis were never free to just go out into Lebanon or Syria or even Egypt, even though there's peace. It's really not safe, and not many Israelis would do that. And I'm Granniopteryx, asking you to like this video, to share it, to subscribe, to click the notification bell if you're subscribed on YouTube, to donate if you wish. It's all there in the description. But really, the best thing you can do for this video and my channel, click like. Okay, back to Israel. I remember seeing, I probably won't be able to find it now, but there was an Egyptian television sort of semi-satirical show, and they got some Egyptian man of note and they interviewed him on television and then told him that they were Israelis interviewing him. And he got up, he threw the furniture around and he punched the interviewer, was a woman. He gave her a beating live on camera. And when they told him, no, we're really Egyptians, this is a show, he said, oh, I'm sorry I hit you, but you shouldn't have told me you were a Jew. It's something like that. This is in Egypt, and this is after there is peace between the two countries. So Israelis know that they can't get out of their little axe-shaped island. And because of that, they've had to make a go of the patch of desert which they managed to keep control over. And they've made a pretty good show of it, haven't they? It's, well, until now, it's been a very successful country. Most of what you see here in this video comes from Israeli technology. Anyway, I was thinking that if in 1948 the Arabs, all of them, had said, oh, it's so wonderful to have Semitic brothers back in this area, we love you, we want you to give us your knowledge, your European practices, your business know-how, all the rest of it, please settle. Well, the residents of that little bit of sausage-shaped territory would have ended up just dispersing into the various centres where, you know, a lot of them did know about business, they did have skills, they did have crafts, and they would probably have gone to places where those skills and crafts would have been appreciated, where business could have been done, like Cairo, Alexandria, Damascus, Beirut, those sorts of places. The cream of the Jewish population would probably have ended up just sort of filtering outwards until the borders of what was the newly independent state of Israel would have become next to non-existent. So the Arabs had this choice of killing Israel with kindness or sealing Israel and forcing it to become a warrior nation of great inventiveness. In fact, the Arabs created the state of Israel. Isn't that ironic? Okay, till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the granniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.